Of course, Kairos can interface with external graphics generators, but we also have our own built-in CG that we can use to do things like lower thirds or clocks or counters, all of that built within Kairos. To build graphics within Kairos, we're going to navigate to our Painter tab. Now I can do that through our full Kairos Creator suite here, running full Kairos License Creator, navigating to our Painter tab, or we also have a free module you can get from your Pass account that can run on an unlicensed machine with all of the same controls for your Kairos Creator running Painter. So as I jump to this free module here, you'll see the only tab I have access to is Painter, but all of the controls and the power are still there and available for your operator. So if you want to offload graphics to a second operator or a second machine, you can do that using this software. So jumping into our Painter, we have two tabs within this tab. So we have the control side where you can take and drag your graphics and output them to one of your output channels. And we have the edit side. On the edit side, this is where we're going to be building most of our graphics or changing them. And to change or build a new graphic, we're going to jump to our scenes bin over here, and we're just going to create a new graphic scene. And again, I'll use the training moniker for our new graphic scene. So I typed in TRN and I can navigate and select that graphic scene down here at the bottom. So I've created my new graphic here. Now you'll notice there's nothing in my object bin, and that's because we just started with a new graphic. To add objects into our graphic, we'll simply just right click, and now we can select what we want to add. Maybe adding a logo is a good place to start for your graphic. So I'm going to select new image. You can see some images already loaded into our Painter software here. If I'd like to add another one, I can import that using this import button, or I can export an image that I have as well. For now, I'll just work with our Kairos logo. So I'll select that, and now that logo has been added as a part of my graphic scene. If I want to move this, I can simply just take and drag. I can also, once it's selected, change its position with XY coordinates using this move trackpad and also scaling it down. So maybe we're building a lower third. Let's start with the Kairos logo right there. Now I'll need a background for that lower third, and let's start with a basic shape like a box. So by default, you'll get this yellow box. We can move it down, and we can see that the key priority is the top object will take key priority. So if I need to change key priority of an object, I simply right click or use the keyboard shortcut Control down or up, in this case down, and now I can change key priority, revealing the Kairos logo now on top of the box. And so for this lower third, let's continue on first by changing the color. So let's grab our custom color that we've saved here. This will be our Kairos blue. That'll be a starting point, and then maybe we can darken it just a little bit so that that Kairos K can pop. So we'll change it there, and then now maybe we want to also change the width of that shape to be more like a lower third, something like that. And of course you can make some finishing touches and clean this up as you're building your own graphics, but just as a simple example of what you can do here, we have a color slab behind our logo, and then maybe now we want to add some user-generated text. So to add text, just like we added an object, we'll add new text, and you get a couple different types of text. One of them is just straight text, some counters, so if you do want to add maybe a score, a +1 or +2, as well as a clock if you want to count up or down or just see the time, you can do that. I'll just start with the text. Let's say we're just adding a name, and I'll leave this labeled as text. Now again, we get that default yellow. I can simply grab and drag down here, and now that I have it selected, we can see on the right hand side all of the parameters that correspond to that text. So for the actual text field, we can enter a name, Frank Smith is a cousin of mine. So now that we've changed that text, we can see that it's dynamically changed in our preview window here. If we want to do things like italics or change a font, you have the ability to add in your own user fonts as well. You can select that here. Change color, let's make this maybe similar to that gray. Add a drop shadow. Then you can see just many different options here as far as actually building out what you want your text to look like. And now that I have an idea of what I want, I can take this text and this graphic and move to my control side and actually output that through one of my graphics channels. So just with a drag and drop, now I'm able to use that as an output. And if I jump back to my creator software and get the full suite here, I can see in my 16:9 scene that we're monitoring over here, I can now overlay this graphics channel as a part of my show. So the internal painter will get you there if you need to overlay any sort of lower thirds, counters, clocks. Very simply, you can build them within Kairos, whether it's on your full suite or on the free applet running alongside, and you can get them into your program directly from the Kairos.